I've also been working on like kind of rapping and talking, just trying to like open up more to people and kind of just like kind of let like people know like the real me and kind of like what I'm all about. But it's kind of difficult because like I have a lot of passion and I have a lot of like energy to do certain things, but it's kind of hard just to kind of like frame the times with it. And it sounds kind of bad, but it sounds weird. But one of the things that kind of helps me, like help me, like was helping me stay away from tobacco and trying to like get more focused, because when I was younger I was diagnosed with ADHD. And a lot of times, like a lot of people say that like well, when I was young, the ADHD was kind of more like focused on like younger kids who felt like they knew more than what they did. And it was kind of sucks, because when you're like younger and you feel like, well, I can do this, and this, like that's kind of what we want to teach younger kids, like younger people, is that you can do a lot more things and you can go out and like venture out and kind of go get to know people, because you're younger, you want to go out there and like make those relationships with people and kind of help like you understand like what your future goals will be. But because I was diagnosed with ADHD, I really had a hard time concentrating on like common knowledge stuff, and kind of like like the things you really do need. Like when I was younger, I had a really hard time trying to learn how to read, and like a really, really, really tough time. And like a really, really, really tough time, like trying to learn how to read. And I remember it was like, I would say I was like in elementary, and we were trying to learn our days. And like I remember that was like the first time that I really felt like I wasn't smart. And for a kid who had ADHD and feeling like I like knew it all, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I already knew it all at like age, let's say age like 8 or 10, like 8, 9, 10. I felt like I kind of knew the whole world. And it's and they wanted to put me on like medication. Like I can't remember what like the popular medication was at the time for like kids with ADHD, but I just remember hearing like so many horror stories of like these kids who would take it and they would get like super stressed out, and they would just like get like really depressed and like have suicidal thoughts, because it would just like eat up kids' energy. You know what I mean? But but in the same run, I was like, that's dumb. Why would you want to take the energy from like away from a kid? Like why would you want to take like their energy and like kind of like take their little life source that they have, like their little light that they have going on? But in the same sense, it's kind of hard, because you want to snap that kid back into reality, that think that they know everything. But in the same sense, you don't want to kill that imagination. And I feel like that was like one of the harder things for me as a younger generation, trying to speak as a millennial, I guess you can like kind of say that. And there still is a lot of struggle, like I feel, with a lot of like people my age, like in their early 20s at this point, because they had that stigma of like ADHD, and there was a lot of other kids who were just like, well, I must have ADHD too, and but it's like really hard, because then you have those couple of kids who have ADHD, and they know the symptoms of ADHD. And when you see it, it's pretty much just kids who don't really know how to learn. And I think it's because like they're so involved, like with these kids with ADHD, or like me, like when I was younger, is because they had like a lot of younger siblings that they had to like kind of look over and take care of. And so when you're at school, you're like constantly worrying about like your younger siblings, your cousins, or even your friends who are there, and you're trying to want to help them be better in themselves, like try to help them better themselves. And like I feel like ever since I was younger, like that was my calling, to try to help people and like help people do what they want, and like try to help them like reach their goals.
On
But
YouTube?
yeah, I'm vlogging, or trying to vlog. Say what's up.
Don't put me on that shit.
Alright, well. But yeah, like people just get like sidetracked, and they just like kind of help them talk and kind of just let shit out. But yeah, but anyway, so like when I was younger, like there was a lot of kids who were diagnosed with like ADHD. And surprisingly, and I don't want to sound like really preachy, because I already said that I have a struggle with smoking, like tobacco and like cigarettes, and I'm really trying to get away from that. But in the same sense, but like the only thing that I really felt like I had to like self-diagnose myself with like ADHD. And then now that I'm getting older, and like I'm starting to see the world how it really is, like, you know, and like as a dude who's in his early 20s, it's really hard to try to like blur those lines between like childhood and adulthood. And like I feel like now that I'm older, I'm losing some of that like wonder that I had with the world. You know what I mean? Because like the world's just getting smaller for me. But like that's why I'm trying to like express myself with like YouTube and social media. And I'm like really trying to like funnily, like I'm trying to work on my rapping and like music creating, and I'm not really too fond on the rap game. Like well, that's a lie. Like I don't know, but like I feel like there's a lot of good, and like I'm trying to like think about like the newer music that's coming out, and kind of like the new waves that they're trying to come through, and like just looking at what other people are doing. And but anyway, like for like the kids who are like kind of in my age group, you know what I mean? Like the people that are in my age group who are like in their early 20s, and like just really trying to get out there and like put their own foot in, and trying to get their work in, what they're doing, but they like already have like things that are like not holding them back, but like just pre like fucking things that need to get done. You know what I mean? Like things that like you already have planned out, and you just have to like strive to get that goals. And when you're trying to like start your own life, but you're trying to help like other people, like your family, and trying to like raise them, like not raise money, but like earn money to help put food on the table, and you know, just like keep the lights on. But you know, it's a struggle. And right now, like I feel like there's a lot of people who are trying to bridge that gap, and trying to like find what's the sweet spot to be like, what do I have to do to make my life better? And not in the way to just be like, well, so and so is just like destroying your life, but it's just like you gotta go out and like make your own plans, and like do what you have to do. And but like that's like just a big thing like with people today, is that it's just hard to try to find something to talk to. And in this day and age, like no one wants to hear like the bad stuff. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to hear like the things you have to do, the things you need to do. Especially if you're working on it, and you're working on it, and you feel the time crunch, and you just want the work to be done fast, and you want the work to be done quick enough, so you can just go back and go home and do what you want to do. And one of the things that kind of really helps me get like a level ahead is smoking weed. And it sounds dumb. It sounds just like somebody trying to like get drugs, like honestly, because there is the stigma of like medical marijuana still till this day. but the harder point is like we're like trying to make it more successful, like more positive, like in a positive light for people to get what they need, like people who have their symptoms with like depression, or like young kids who have like seizures and epilepsy, like that like really affects them. And it's been proven that like CBD and like small doses of like little THC do help with seizures and kind of like focusing the mind. And like I feel like I was like part of the generation that kind of really strived for that, like really like saw the need for it, and like we're really pushing to kind of like make this possible. And like even as a younger, I remember being like in high school, like a freshman in high school, and like barely first started smoking. And I'm not gonna lie, like it kind of did a lot more bad than it did good, because at that point, with the kid with ADHD who felt like he knew it all at that point, and especially like as a freshman, where you still think you know it all, and you go out and you're trying to do your own thing, and you're trying to like go out and like make friends, and you know, you're just trying to go out and like do like things that you feel like are fun. And one of the things that we did was like we smoked a lot of weed. And like it sounds dumb, but that's what we did. Like we just smoked a lot of weed, and then we would go to class like super freaking baked, and just like try to get like the most, like I would, because for me, I'm a very visual learner. I learn by like listening and visually. So like by the time lunch was over, we were already baked, and we already had all our electives done, so we were like didn't really need to worry about being sluggish. So we were like, I was in English class, and I had this teacher, Mr. McClung, and he would go ahead and like read the books out loud, and we would just follow along, because we were part of like the I was part of like the special needs class. And even till this point, it's still kind of hard for me to admit that I was I am and still am we're part of like the kids who needed that special help. But like the kind of like fucked up part is like I felt like I was helping like my peers more than I was helping myself at that time. And because I was so focused on trying to help people, like other people, and trying to strive for their better things, and trying to like make those connections for myself, and like make those connections for myself, and trying to make those friendships. But like that's just how life is, and sometimes, you know, you just grow apart from these people. And especially when you're a younger person who's been striving and trying to help like so many people at a younger age, that when you turn around and you look back and you don't see anybody trying to leave that helping hand for you. But there's been many people I can't go ahead and say that, because there's been a lot of people who have seen that I've been struggling and trying to like looking for a job and trying to do like the things that I need to do for my family. But in the same sense, in like the only thing that calms me down, or not calms me down, but like focuses my head enough where I can just stay focused on one goal and like just keep striving at that one thing, is like smoking, because it kind of just like makes everything a little bit smaller and a little less like crazy, and like a little less like, you know, where you have to like just focus on every little thing. But yeah, but like anyway, like I was saying, so we would just like during lunchtime we would just go down to like the bottom of the library in the stairwell, like the little bad kids that you see on TV. We were just and we would all like get our own little money, and we'd like throw it all together, and we would have or we would all meet up and just like trade what we've like gotten from other people. And like that was just like a way for us to like kind of talk and like just really just let everything out. And you know, and like another stigma is, though, in Tucson, is that it's a state that it's legal to have possession of it, you can't sell it, or you can't cross a border with it. But that's only if you have your card. But another thing that kind of sucks is that right now, because it is a medical thing, and it's still like a big stigma here, that it's like is still like a very like a Schedule 1 like narcotic, because it is like moving around in that much like it moves around in that much like rotation, and there's a lot of people that will like spray their stuff with like more addictive products to try to get like more of like a clientele, so people can go back to them and give them more money. And but it's kind of hard because you see that, and you see because people are struggling and they want to make money. Like, they want to make money, they want you to keep going to them. But in the same sense, when we're trying to like make it more of a medical crop, but then again, when it's like $300, $600 just to get your card, and then not even including the appointment to see a doctor to get the the exact freaking like prescription that you need. And it's kind of hard for people like me who automatically know, like, not know, but like feel like they're like their own doctor, and like to self-diagnose themselves, and feel like the only way to fix their problem is just to like solve it themselves. Because that's just how I was raised, like when I was younger. Like, that's like, I didn't really have a dad growing up. I had a lot of father figures in my life, but I never really had like a father figure who was there constantly. You know what I mean? And like, I had a lot of tatas, I have a lot of uncles, but those are different relationships, and you can't always lean on other people when you have to like grow up. And like, that's the harder part, because I'm trying to like grow up and trying to like grow up and do what I have to do for myself. But in the same sense, you like want to go out and like look out for your own, like the people that grew up with you. And it's kind of hard, especially when you've burned people in like in the past, and you're the one asking for forgiveness, but you can't like forgive yourself for what you've done. So, and it really sucks when you're trying to just make money, and just get what you feel like you need to do to like get people happy, or make people happy, and try to like lighten up their day, because like that's the stuff that kind of like helps people just to get that foot out. And I guess I would like, at a younger age, like I was always the one who would try to be like the funny guy, and like humor was my way, like as like a coping mechanism to get away from like my insecurities with reading. So like, I would go out in the world with my like the challenge to be like, let's see if I cannot trick these people to think I'm smart. And a lot of ways that kind of helped me, because when I would go out and talk to people, and like a lot of other people like outside of school, and like the same stigma that we would have, like we would still smoke, and like the little legend of 420, and like I feel like I would be like the little MC, like I would be the one talking, because especially if I had the money to get the bud, like to get the weed, and kind of like hold the attention of like a set group of people, and just like have like an intelligent conversation with about like at least like 4 or 5 of your peers, going in rotation for like hours, where you're just talking, and you're just trying to like solve your own problems, and you even like see your problems through other people's eyes when they're talking, and you can hear it, and hearing your problems through somebody else's eyes kind of helps focus on like what you have to do, because especially because when I was like, for example, like I had a friend, Renee, and me and him were like in the same boat. We both had trouble reading, trouble like trying to like just getting through like the work, and just focusing on what you had to do, especially when you like have your mind on bigger things, like, well, I could be home doing this, or I could be at work, or I can be making money, and I can be doing this, and this. because you're in that one spot and you're focused on everything, and you have these classes that are trying to like tell you like this is the future. And if you're just trapped in one room for long enough, like you'll start to like to freak out and you like start to freak out. And like I've had multiple like nervous breakdowns at school. Like I'm not gonna lie, I like there's been days where like I've just like had to sit in a corner and just like cry.